quiet seaside town, an evil laid to rest centuries ago, has risen. An abandoned fortress deep in the swamp holds a secret that could save the village or destroy it. Now, a band of adventurers sets out to dig up the wounds of the past and bring the light of day to the roots of ruin. This is Tabletop Gold.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Tabletop Gold, The Roots of Ruin, episode 124. My name is Lars Casteen. I'm the Golden Tyrant. Welcome to the show. We're going to have a great episode for you this time. Lots of exciting things happening. We've got some things happening around town. We have mysteries developing. Hold on to you're going to pay for the edge of your seat, but you need the whole thing. You're not paying for anything. It's a free podcast. I hope you're enjoying it. I'm joined today by David Chernicoff, the Tin Man.
Yes, good that time. Hang on to the back of your seat.
And it's our Humphreys also.
Good that time. Grab the gum and under your chair and hold on to it, or stick to it, or
yes.
Hold on to that gum.
You see where I'm
Zoe
going.
Chernicoff is here as well.
Good gum time.
Good gum time. And Robin Lange is also here.
Good that time. I was about to comment how our intro this week sounded so much smoother at first because it sounded like Lars had gotten some sleep, but then I don't know what kind of car wreck we just got into.
What's the best rested you've ever been?
Now that I'm clearly rested,
now.
let's talk about the best rested. I think that went basically exactly how I wanted it to. So that's fine. We're going to talk a little bit. We're going to have a little chit chat before we get into our game. The thing that we're talking about today is something that keeps we chat sometimes about what is it that we're going to talk about in this intro segment, and there's a concept that keeps coming up in conversation. I don't really know why. I don't know really what it is that we're going to talk about, but I'm going to say the topic right now. For some reason, people on this call want to talk about Pokemon Go. This is a game that, as far as I know, came out like 7 years ago, 5 years ago. Long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the angle is that we're taking on it, but for some reason, multiples of us want to talk about Pokemon Go. And who am I to say Pokemon no to that?
Oh! I thought you
So
had
let's do it.
wordplay.
Why are we talking about Pokemon Go? Who wants to tell me? Who wants to fill me in as to why this is a current topic?
I feel like I can take the lead here as perhaps
Please
one
do.
of the foremost agitators. I don't want to say the foremost, but let's do one of Lars's favorite things, which is a visual bit first. Show of hands if you have ever played Pokemon Go, even for a second.
I'm going to hold my hand up and say that I'm holding it up. We've
Let
all
the
five.
record show.
It's
All
fine.
five
All
of
right, we're
us.
5 for 5. Okay,
Holding
that's
your hands.
helpful because if someone had not played it, so we have recently, as a family, gotten fairly deep in Pokemon Go, and I am both myself, I should say at the outset, very much like taken up with the psychology of it, and separate from that, fascinated by the psychology of the game. So I'm like, how long have you guys played, and what years did you play?
I played when it first came out for a
Sure.
total of, let's call it, an hour and a half.
Okay, very briefly, just to like check it out.
Just checking it out. I like the Pokemon. I like seeing a Psyduck in my
Wait a
office or whatever.
Yeah.
You beat Pokemon Go in an hour and a half.
It was easier back in 2016.
Yeah, they didn't have really
I
any
guess.
content. It was just a Psyduck in your office.
And if
were
you
like,
caught
well,
it-
I found it.
I caught them all.
But I know that they've added a bunch of stuff. They've added like gyms and competition and stuff like that. But when I was
Wait,
playing
what
it, was
was it
basically
then?
just catching.
Tell me what you just caught. A Pokemon.
You just caught Pokemon and you fed
Yeah.
you fed them candy, and that was it.
Okay. All right, Robin. What's your experience?
I also started playing when it first came out. I think I was actually living. I was between apartments. And it was because I came out during the summer. I was living with my parents, and they're out in not the middle, like kind of the suburbs, but not really near
And is
anything.
there
And
a
so I'd go
Pokestop near them? How were you able to load up on supplies?
There were no
Pokestop near
Pokestops.
Wait,
I
how
would
did you
have
get
to, like,
balls?
I would.
What world is this, Robin? It's like the frontier.
It was. I would go out for walks.
David.
I would go for, and I would get enough Pokeballs through like achievements throughout the day. Then I would go out for walks and call them Poke Walks, and I would
So
walk
you
around.
only
the
got them
neighborhood.
through achievements. Like if you met
And then
a little
occasionally,
goal, it
like
gave you
when I
balls.
went into town to get groceries, like there was, or like to go grab a drink somewhere, there were Pokestops there. But that was when that was when I first started playing. But I played pretty clear, like through for the first year, and then with my newest or 2 phones ago, I didn't download it again, and I have. It feels a little bit like there's a hole in my life sometimes.
Robin, who's feeding all your Pokemon?
I don't know. They're dead.
Okay, wait.
They've
I'm
been
sorry.
in a
I have to
bag
jump in.
holding for too long.
Zoe, you are so deep in it right now. Like you've caught on to
Dratini is my buddy.
exactly the problems with Robin's strategy. Like I feel like you're like I feel like I'm watching a conversation between time travelers right now, where like Robin is coming to you from like the Victorian era, and you're like flabbergasted with all of your newfangled Pokemon Go postmodern lifestyle.
Wait, I briefly want to hear when Armat played, and then I can give a very brief overview and make David's sad face even sadder.
Yeah, no, I'm not sad. I just miss my wife. But
I want to dig
Okay.
into this so badly. But yeah, Armat, what's your Pokemon Go experience?
Not so much. I basically like Lars. That's the augmented reality thing where you like, yeah, I found like a couple, and I've never been a like big Pokemon head. So limited. I probably tried it once or twice, but it didn't really stick with me.
And it was one of those apps that happened for, right? Like this was a mobile game that everybody was like, yeah, I'll check this thing out. And it had a moment, and I guess it's been going strong since then.
It was causing like riots in New York City that first summer.
Yeah, but in New York City's defense, those riots probably would have happened anyway.
I remember when it first started, we did not play it at all. And we lived around Lake Merritt in Oakland, which is like a 3-mile path around this estuary, which is very lovely. But it became like a traffic problem because it's only a sidewalk pedestrian route, but it's like a single sidewalk wide. And people would stop to catch Pokemon. But it was also around the era of the mobile scooters, the like motorized ones. And so
right.
those were hitting Pokemon Go players. There's also a bunch of
my
ornery
God.
Canadian geese around. So you know, you can imagine.
I mean, and it was all fun and games until
harrowing.
through playing the game, people started finding dead bodies in random places.
Oh yeah, that did happen, didn't it? People were like led to crime scenes and stuff like that by chasing.
Because like they were wandering into spaces they wouldn't usually people usually wouldn't walk into to see if they could find Pokemon.
Yeah,
Right.
that's a
Interesting.
movie, right? Like that's got to be a
I was-
movie. Like
I know
you
what it
do a
is. Is the
Pokemon-
opening? It's the opening sequence of a Law and Order episode.
I was going to say Pokemon
Yes.
SVU.
Chill.
Wait, so Zoe, do you
Holy
enjoy?
shit.
It seems like you're really into the game. Do you enjoy it, or do
I'm
you just
very-
feel like?
So it
consumed
is
by it.
nowadays like to the like you could only catch Pokemon and do some goals. There's a million things going on with it. Several
Right.
things of which I have no interest in or like I may be cognizant of, maybe if I understood them. But there's like it's gotten so complicated that I find that fascinating, right? Because it's like trying to get people addicted. There's a million ways, much like, you know, Farmville or any of these, like you download it and you pay.
did
They're
me
trying
For
to get
sure.
you to spend like 99 cents on coins, 99 cents on a day pass.
And they're trying to keep you coming back to it like every single day, day after day
Yes.
after day after day. Yeah.
Yes. And right, there's all sorts of little like I mean, it's a slot machine in some ways, right? It's like a Pokemon slot machine.
Yeah.
So I find that fascinating. I mean, I myself have never been a big video game player. I'm interested in it. I like find myself compelled by it. And some of it's anthropological and some of it's like genuinely personal. And so I don't know, there's like a tension there. But maybe we explore this more. Like
Yeah. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it's part of it that like you've just never felt the bite of this kind of game before, and it's kind of getting you.
Well, and also like it got started. We started playing this summer because you can play it on a walk with the dog, and the kids never wanted to come on a walk with the dog, and now they really want to come because they can like each take turns playing Pokemon Go. So like query if they're interacting with the real world, but like you get them out for a 2-block walk, and they like walk into traffic and get hurt, and it's lovely. They're getting
Another
exercise.
Law and Order episode.
Yeah, that's right. No, it's very like there's all these. I feel like I want Robin to start playing again to like be able to tune into modern day Pokemon. So the future from which I am time traveling, having no past experience, we can be like, oh yeah, there's now like gifts and we get postcards every day from like Bahrain and South America.
Cool.
And
my husband, though, as you're saying this, is driving his car to work and is screaming at the radio, "No, not again!"
Well, let's do it. Let's do
Sorry,
one better.
Chris.
I'm happy to download Pokemon Go again, also, and maybe we pick up this conversation next week and all of the new Pokemon Go.
If we ever get together,
Goniacs.
we can trade Pokemon. We don't know anyone who plays locally, so I can't trade. You have to be next to someone to trade.
We could get a VPN and pretend that we're in Russia and trade there if we wanted to.
Russian trading.
This
is perfect. They're going to kick us off. You have to cut that part. They're going to
Okay,
kick
sorry.
us off.
I actually don't know how to cut anything out of the podcast, unfortunately, so that's staying.
Everything's good forever.
I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to edit. I'm sorry.
I, for one, hope the Gulag has a good
Goulash?
kitchen.
I bet you there are hella Pokemon up in that gulag that we're all getting sent to.
As long as there's a couple of Pokestops so we can, we
Right.
can get the
Load up on
resources that we
balls.
need.
But no, there's all
whatever.
these like event days now. The funniest of which I think is a good closer here, was that, what was it, 2 or 3 weeks ago? It was Charmander event day. This is the only time we have spent money on this app. So for 99 cents, you got some like set of things. And we took the kids to a like local area. They're both like, they know Pikachu and Charmander. This all started because in June, my daughter got into Pokemon cards very casually. But so they started to learn about these characters.
Thanks, summer camp.
Thanks, summer camp. Yeah. Charmander event day was like a cult of thousands of Charmanders as far as you could see in the app, like looking up at you, just waiting to be. And there's something very disturbing about the game because you catch them, and if they're not good enough, you don't want to pay for storage for them. So you just turn them into candy, and then you go back to like catching more of them. Anyways, we'll discuss more.
I have been in since like all of that stuff.
Yeah.
It was like 2 years ago. That was probably the last time I played.
Okay.
I'm so excited. We're gonna pick this up. We're gonna go.
We're going to do it.
We're gonna Pokemon Go to the next section of this podcast, and that is to thank people for leaving reviews for us. We got this review. This is the most helpful thing that people can do to help us out in getting the show out there. So thank you to Yabby, who left this review on Podcast Addict. Yabby says, "Not by an AI taught about the show, Tabletop Gold is a captivating actual play podcast with in-jokes about dew point, teeth, and bite attacks. It's a laughter-filled adventure." They go on, they say all kinds of nice stuff. They call out the Dirty Dancing lift, the gnome in a pouch antics, the occultism checks. They know exactly what's going on this show. Just how we wrote it up. These are exactly the things that we were hoping people would be connecting to on our show, and it's working out great. So thank you to Yabby for this lovely review. I really appreciate it. And
Thank you, Abby.
super helpful and super nice. So thank you. And with that, let's get into our game. Your stay in town has been marked by some interesting twists and turns. Mag suffered a nightmare about her time in the town guard, featuring a mysterious, tormenting force. Ayo focused her energies on mastering the arts of medicine and magical transformation. Isthan connected with his father's fading memory and recovered a strange staff. And Trill uncovered evidence that Doriana Menhemez had started manifesting psychic powers shortly before being targeted by the mysterious entity known to you only as the Motley Man. Now, you've received word from her father, Mayor Menhemez, that Doriana's condition has reached a new, even more dire level. Her dreams are no longer limited to nighttime. she spends her days dream-walking through adventures with the motley man. And perhaps more alarming, her right hand has started shriveling away to nothing.
Yeah, that's such a chilling detail.
I feel like we should get on it with this whole Doriana thing. It seems to be escalating.
I want to talk about the hand shriveling away to nothing, just in case listeners have forgotten what that's are not making the connection there. Do you four make any connection to the idea of Doriana's hand shriveling away?
Yeah, a couple. We met a woman who was one of the three beings that we freed from
the chef's fridge.
Right.
Behind
the bar area that was being fed to all of the Morlocks who were awaiting the process. One of them was suffering from some sort of was in some sort of hallucinating thrall, whatever, and just kept saying over and over again, the motley man takes hands, which immediately struck us as similar to what we'd heard from and gathered about Doriana herself, that she was being visited by this being from another plane whom she referred to as the motley man. So the hand thing seemed scary, maybe not out of context, but scary.
So I think then maybe the mayor looks at Mag and says, "Wait a minute, you look as though that means something to you."
I wish that we understood it more. We've encountered another individual who perhaps, I'm speculating, but it seems likely may have had a similar affliction. But as to its origin or its remedy, we're still unsure.
Maybe we should round the rest of you up, as he dabs his forehead, which is covered with sweat. Which brings me to a detail about this day. We're at the tail end of this town stay right now. It's Serenith the 26th. It is hot today. Temperatures have been climbing over the last week. Today it's going to get up as high as 108 degrees.
What?
With just a slight breeze at sunset,
the dew point,
providing any relief. The dew point is through the frickin' roof today.
It's humid too. Awful.
Dewy.
Ooh, it's not a dry heat.
We're by the seaside. It's always going to be a little humid.
So the mayor looks. He says, "Please gather your friends. Maybe there's something you can figure if you look at her. She's at home right now." And this conversation's happening outside Blades for Glades, where the plinth, the anvil, the hammer, the forge is. So what do you do?
I like the idea that at this point Mag has one really loud, shrill whistle that I guess Istin might not know yet, but the rest of us hear and we come running.
So echoes across town.
Right.
I would demonstrate, but it will result in the dog sprinting across the house toward me, and I don't want to do that right now.
This conversation's happening. There's a little bit of a crowd around. Mag was doing business. Mag was crafting for people. The four of you are well-known figures around town at this point, given everything you have done for the town. So, presumably, some of the bystanders would be able to find the rest of you. You are not anonymous bystanders in this town.
Got it.
Mag snaps for Mark, and he does it.
Maybe Mag was forging Mark's new +1 striking Earthbreaker that Mark got just so that he could be more like Mag.
Aww.
So Mag is merchandise. She's monetizing via merch.
Merchandise.
So Mark runs off, and he finds Ao where?
Ao is sort of wandering the halls of Rin's in a trance, having been through this sort of intense retraining period. she's supposed to be helping Ren do inventory. It's inventory at Ren's shop, but instead she's like writing one thing down on a clipboard and like casting foxfire and burning things she doesn't want to count.
So as this is happening,
I like
Mark,
that.
you see this flap lift, get pushed open, and Mark looks at you meaningfully and runs to find Trill. Where is Trill now?
Trill went back to Crow's Cask to talk at Fidget.
So
To
Trill
talk
and
at.
Fidget having a conversation over a drink.
Oh, remember, Fidget's blasted right now.
Fidget Fidget has literal birds flying around his head. And Mark
Very gnomish.
slams the door open, looks desperately at Trill, and runs off. And by the time he gets to where Isthan is, which I'm guessing is this still Haplo's house?
Yeah, I think Isthan is like just putting a casserole on the hearth that he got when he visited his mom in Absalom this week. And it was like, oh, do you need something?
Gotta go.
And Mark is like, that smells delicious, but because he's run all the way around the outskirts of town to get there, and he says, "You're needed," and he runs out the door. And within an hour, the four of you are assembled in front of Mayor Menhemez's home, and the mayor is there, waiting for you. He says, "Oh, good. I'm glad you're all here. It's a good thing. I'll tell you, being in this position would be much more difficult without four strong, upstanding people such as yourselves. But please, you've got to come in. You've got to take a look at her."
Let's go in and take a look at her.
I've got gauze.
I hope it doesn't come to that, but
Trill's like very agitated, knowing that it's gotten worse. The Trill is racing.
yeah. So Trill bursts into the room, and you see that the furniture in the grand parlor of Menhemez Manor has been pushed to the sides of the room to create like an open space where Doriana isn't going to be able to get her hands on anything that she might accidentally hurt herself with. And you immediately see that Doriana is wearing like a white nightgown, walking around in the middle of the day, her eyes open, sort of staring into the middle distance, her head cocked back slightly, almost like an opaque sheen across her eyes as she's walking around.
Okay, so we're just like at
Stumbling.
The Exorcist.
Mm.
Like pea soup is coming out of people's mouths.
The mayor's like,
two,
"Which-"
Motley's coming for you. 3, 4,
Oh, no.
better. Sorry, I just watched Nightmare on Elm Street recently, so
yeah.
it's in my head.
I've never seen
Oh
it.
my gosh, you live alone and you watch that? I don't want that for you.
I do
Oh.
it super late at night too. It's great.
Stop it. You stop it.
Emnala
It's very
Menhemez comes
satisfying.
into the room carrying a bowl of pea soup, and the mayor's like, "No, now is not the time, please." But yeah, if Trill wants to go talk to Doriana, absolutely, that's something you could do. But Doriana right now is just sort of stumbling around the room.
So Trill walks over to Doriana and goes to grab her hands and pulls back at seeing one of the hands, right?
Yeah, it's her right hand is sort of shriveled up, raisin-like. Like Gina Davis's hand at the end of Beetlejuice.
What a reference.
Spoiler alert, I guess.
It's my go-to shriveled hand. It's what I think about.
And so instead she takes Doriana's left hand and Doriana's elbow and tries to guide Doriana to a seat.
Yeah, and I'm going to say that Doriana and Trill has been at Doriana's bedside countless times. Like, Trill has tried countless times to break through to Doriana and has developed a bit of a trusting relationship with her. And I think Trill is probably struck the moment that she gets close to her that Doriana is really in a different place, but she's still willing to talk to Trill. The mayor turns and talks to the remaining three of you and sees that Doriana is registering some recognition of Trill. And he nods at the three of you and he says, "Okay, well this is a relief. I was I was worried that she might be even too far gone for this. And are you sitting, you're like sitting Doriana down on like a sofa on the edge of the room?
Or like an ottoman, something, just
A
to get her
fainting couch?
to kind
A
of
divan?
stop pacing.
Divan.
Okay. You settle down
Davenport.
on the Davenport. We've established that all couches in our game are Davenports.
One of the Davenports that's lying around.
Yeah. This room is lousy with Davenports.
It's just if I grew up like on Davenport Ridge Road and went to Davenport Ridge Elementary. This is all very funny to me. This word.
This is your fate. This is your destiny, Robin.
Just to sit
I'm
on
glad that you-
Davenports.
Right
glad
near
that
the
you
Westport Library.
Right. I'm glad that you didn't grow up on Stool Road because
That would have
It
been
would
messy.
be
Far less dramatically satisfying.
yeah.
But so she sort of falls down to the Davenport with you. She sees you and she sort of looks at you from out of the corner of her eye, turning not her head but just her eyes. Then she turns her eye back, looking forward, looking up at the where the wall meets the ceiling. She just says, I've been going on such wonderful adventures. A fantastical land of forests, palaces, and snowfields. Trill, it's wonderful. It's everything I've always wanted. Maybe someday you can meet me there, beyond this world, in the next.
Oh, that's creepy. Trying to think how Trill's going to respond because I feel like we know at this point that there's not a lot more we can get from her. It feels like.
Well, it's interesting you say that. Because I think Trill, seeing how different Doriana's current state is in, this is a turn for the worse, for sure.
I mean, definitely.
Definitely. But Trill has never seen this world that Doriana escapes into so present, so in the room with her. And you feel almost like you're talking to her while she's in a completely different place, which is new.
I think Trill would start playing some soothing music on her lute. And as she is playing that music, she's kind of asking questions in a lilting tone to go along with the lute. He's asking, so Doriana, do you feel like you're there right now? Do you feel like your mind is making this place?
My mind is, it's not making this place, and I'm not there. I'm not quite there yet. I ache to be there. But soon I will. The Motley Man says that we will be together soon, and we will be together forever. It'll be so wonderful.
Oh, but Doriana, don't you see that it's separating your mind and your body? He's taking you from this place, from your family.
No, you're wrong. The only thing he wants to take, it's such a small thing. My hand. It's such a small price to pay.
But what will happen when he has your hand?
Then I will go with him. He's my friend. You know what it is to have a friend. He's my best friend.
But I also know that friends wouldn't ask me to give up something like my hand.
No, that's where you're wrong. Best friends give each other gifts all the time. You're wrong.
Oh, Doriana.
A tear comes down Trill's face. Because she knows where this is going if they can't stop this. She's seen the result of the Motley Man taking hands.
And now she locks eyes with you and she smiles and she says, yes, it's beautiful. You see, you understand. And as she looks at you, as her eyes connect with yours, you get the feeling almost like there are two people behind those eyes. The motley man, whatever it is, seems to be incredibly close to you.
Trill shivers as she feels this extra presence.
The mayor says, what have you found?
Trill looks to Mag for guidance on how to handle this and what to say.
Mayor, in our last sortie through the lighthouse, we encountered someone who spoke as Doriana speaks. Now.
And his face lights up. He says, that means you're close.
I hope we are. I can't say anything is any more clear to us than it was during our last visit. Certainly nothing definitive. Only to say that I think there are greater dangers at work. And we hope we're finding our way closer to understanding what it is that's gripped your daughter. In the meantime, all I feel comfortable saying is you must keep a close watch on her. You must do all you can to soothe her. And I dare say, be careful about who else she can see and speak with in town. We're unsure how this strange possession may be spreading from one person to another.
Trill pipes up and steps down from Doriana, continuing to play on her lute to kind of keep Doriana calm.
And she's swaying from side to side in this sort of uncanny kind of way, like swaying slightly too far to the left and then to the right as she is entranced by your music.
A bit discomforting. And Trill says to the mayor,
Before she started to get sick, for lack of a better word, had you started to notice anything, maybe the few months before, of seeming like she just always seemed to know what you needed or always seemed to know what was going on without you telling her?
Well, yes, but that's Doriana. Doriana's always been incredibly insightful.
But more so, beyond what would be expected.
Yes, absolutely. She's always gone. She's an inspiring young woman. Yes.
Imagine you were looking for an item around the house.
Of course.
And you didn't tell anyone you were looking for it.
Of course.
Would she just somehow know you were looking for it and find it for you?
Yes. Your glasses are on your forehead, Dad, she would say.
But you wouldn't say that you were looking for your glasses.
No. No.
She would just know.
We have a very close relationship. Or had a very close relationship.
I can't help but wonder if, as she was becoming of age, she was starting to display maybe some of her family heritage of innate abilities.
Well, that's not something I know much about. If you think there's something more serious happening within her mind, within her, some sort of magic welling up, then you would know better than I would. Maybe you can reach out to her. Maybe you can find something within her if what you're saying is true. I don't know much about magic beyond what it is that, I've read in the family history, but the connection that you've made with her, If you think you can connect somehow with something within her, then do it.
Can Trill do some sort of occultism check to see if she has any sort of psychic abilities?
Yeah, you get the feeling, looking at her, seeing how she's in this other place, seeing how close the Motley Man is to the surface. You get the impression that if you wanted to, you could spend a long period of time with her to pry at her mind and at the forces that are manipulating her. In game terms, this means that if you would like to, you can spend 8 hours with her to make an occultism check. And depending on how well you do, you can go deeper and deeper and deeper into whatever is hiding within her psyche.
Yeah, I think Trill wants to do that. That sounds right up Trill's alley now.
Sure does.
Yeah. Could Istin aid with Arcana?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Cool.
Could AO aid with
Can
astronomy?
Mag aid with swamp lore.
Absolutely. Swamp lore, I think, is a stretch.
Slumber party!
Everybody says that till you're in a swamp.
But yeah,
And
I'll say
the
that
Plateau of Lange is known to be very marshy.
yeah, beautiful in the winter. There are a lot of
Oh, yeah.
snowbirds
Absolutely.
spending time at the Plateau of Lange. Yeah, so I'll say if you want to spend nights with her, then astrology lore would come in handy, as AO can reflect upon the knowledge of the stars.
Well, what time of day is it?
Right now, I
Right
think it's
now.
right around noon.
So, towards the end of that 8 hours, we'd get the sun would set.
Fair enough.
Get those
So
early
let's-
evening stars.
Let's focus on this, okay? Each time we do this, we are going to be adding an additional day of downtime. So just keep that in mind as you're keeping track of what it is that you're doing. I'll say that anybody who spends this time observing and connecting to and trying to help Trill get into, reach through Doriana's mind into this other place and into the Motley Man. Count that as a used bit of downtime.
I'd like to make
Yes,
an
Zoe,
argument
what's
for
Okay,
for
please.
non-traditional use of a hero point card here on episode 124, where we're going to lose our hero points.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. What's this non-traditional hero point card usage?
I'm happy to spend one of my hero points for Mag to use her swamp lore. So the original hero point card was from Daniel from Seattle, Washington. Card name, what was that? Trigger. A character makes a recall knowledge check with a lore skill, but I'm going to say an age check with a lore skill. And this would give Mag a +4 bonus if she were to use swamp lore to help us out.
Okay.
Maybe the astral plane from which the Motley Man comes has swamps as well. We don't know, Lars. We don't know.
Maybe reaching into different planes has reached into Seattle, Washington.
Yes.
Where Daniel
I mean, if we can go to Baltimore, we can
Love
go
it.
to Seattle.
submitted. Well, that's a in-universe Baltimore. I will not. That's a totally different situation. Sure. Yeah. If you want to have Mag connect,
I just think
through
this should be a
the-
group effort, you know?
I like it.
I like it. I'm into it.
Plus, I have 3 hero point cards or 3 hero points that I'm going to lose at the end of this episode, anyways.
So, David, is Mag going to, with the aid of Daniel from Seattle, Washington, tap into the power of the swamp to help?
No, of course. Of course.
Oh, okay.
Where's that drop, baby?
Oh, sorry. Nope, just kidding. Here we go.
We can't shortchange Daniel.
No.
You're right.
No, Daniel
you, Daniel.
deserves the drop. Yeah. So
thank you.
let's say Mag has in some of her youthful archival fits has come across obscure accounts from long ago of swamp travelers and dwellers past, suggesting intermittent, obscure, mysterious crossings only on certain nights in certain conditions, the distance between the planes can diminish, and she's drawing on this knowledge in order to help Trill in this moment.
Well, let's say that that's
like it.
Mag's plan. We'll see if she successfully does that.
Yeah.
With this aid check. So the four of you, the mayor clears the room. What does this look like as the four of you focus on both Doriana and Trill, connecting your Isthin with his knowledge of the arcane, Ao tracking the stars, and Mag on a hope and a prayer from Daniel from Seattle, Washington, trying to find a connection to the creatures that wander through the swamps. What does this look like? Paint a picture for me.
Okay, I'm picturing slumber party, braiding hair, doing nails, light as a feather, stiff as a board.
Ouija board,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
gushers, and a little bit of Mayor Menham as his vodka, which we're filling with water.
Oh, and maybe a little bit of vodka in the ice cream.
The mayor's like, you don't have to do that. You can just have it. You
Don't
need
put
to
water in
refill
there.
it.
It's good vodka.
You're adults. This is fine. It's okay with me. Okay.
But seriously.
Yeah. So
I
this,
actually do kind of picture it somewhat slumber party adjacent, at least.
I mean, slumber
Circling up.
parties turn into this kind of nonsense
Occultist shit
all the time.
Yeah.
Summoning Bloody Mary in the bathroom. Like all kinds of crazy shit happens. I get it. This totally makes sense to me.
The only difference between a slumber party and a seance really is when everybody's supposed to be going to bed.
Right. And you guys are getting started early enough that I guess this is,
Yeah.
She's having a waking dream. This is a daytime slumber party. It all makes sense as far as I'm concerned. Okay. So let's get some of those aid checks. Of course, unfortunately, the way that the math in this game works, the highest aid check bonus is going to be the one that applies. So the three of you are competing to
Aren't
help
we always?
Trill the most.
I hope I don't fuck it up.
Let's keep in mind that Mag has a +4 to this aid check from Daniel in Seattle, Washington.
Isthin also has a +4 for his cooperative nature.
There you go.
Much like Daniel in Seattle, Washington.
Yeah.
Our point is thank you,
Do you want this
Daniel.
blind?
No, I don't. I want it out in the open. Okay. How is that aid check in astrology from AO?
I like to imagine she's using Foxfire to create tiny constellations in the room. Sort of, she's the weird kid off in the corner at the sleepover, but that's a 28.
Okay. A success. How about for Mag with that +4?
Well, the +4 obviously is a huge bonus and a huge boon on top of a not so huge die roll. It's a 23 in total. for
Another
Mag.
success.
Daniel, you did what you could.
Damn, Daniel. Remember that from the internet? Isthin, how did Armat, how did Isthin do?
Isthin did pretty good. I have to imagine he's detecting magic during this whole bit and making notes and glowing golden runes that sort of sparkle in the air with Kirby crackle. He got a 25 with the roll, and with a +4, that's a 29.
Okay, so no critical successes, meaning that the four of you working together managed to contribute a +1 to Trill's occultism check.
That was a kind way to take a really competitive vibe and make it communal.
That's what I do, baby.
Which
It's what I'm famous for.
How much of that 1 point did each of us contribute?
You each contributed exactly 1/3. Unfortunately, brought down to a decimal, that's 0.33333 repeating, meaning that one of you, I'm not going to tell you which, gave that little extra bit of sauce.
It was this then.
Oh, man.
It was this then.
No.
Okay, so let's get that occultism check from Trill. I'm going to tell you, if you ask me, Trill, do you have any feats that you think apply to this situation?
I was going to ask if oddity identification applies.
You were?
Uh-huh.
Well, it does.
Yes, okay.
Because this is, you're identifying magic. You're trying to figure out what's going on with her. With the mental possession, prediction, or scrying traits, Yes, definitely. Absolutely. So we're looking at a +3.
Actually, that's. What do you mean +3?
+3 from +2 from oddity identification, +1 from the aid.
Right. Okay. So +3 in addition to the usual plus that I get on.
That's
the automatic.
correct.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see what happens.
I'm nervous. So that is a 31.
Okay. A 31 is a success. Not quite
Yes.
a critical success.
Yeah, my roll could have been a little bit higher.
And Trill, on as this environment that you've created, this tone that you set in the room, the four of you working together to pry into Doriana's mind, you learn something that maybe you kind of already know, but you get some more concrete details. You understand, looking at Doriana, that there is a strong link between Doriana's mind and the dimension of dreams. There is a denizen of Lange in there. That's a creature that you are aware of. A denizen of Lange has strengthened this conduit from a location in the material plane, and unless that creature is destroyed, you are confident that Doriana will eventually be drawn wholly into that dimension and lost to this world.
Wait,
Yes.
which dimension is the thing in Lange or here?
The creature is here,
Okay,
and
okay,
it is
that's what I
drawing
thought.
her into, not
Yeah.
the dimension of Lange, but the dimension of dreams
Okay, right.
from a spot here
right.
on the material plane. Now, you get the sense that if you were to push your luck and keep trying to spend more time, you're starting to break down the walls around Doriana's mind. You could get more information that might be even more helpful to you in your investigation. Would you like to do that?
Here's a question. I'm trying to understand a hero point card.
Very good.
So I'm looking at assured assurance. Does that essentially guarantee it? Is that essentially like roll a 20 and then add your modifiers?
Well, read the card for us so we can all make that decision together.
The assurance comes assured. Your roll has an automatic result of 20 plus proficiency bonus, like assurance, but 10 more.
So your proficiency bonus in occultism will be your level plus 2, 4, 6, or 8, depending on whether you're trained, expert, master, or legendary.
I'm an expert in occultism.
So that'll be an automatic 20 plus 11. That'll be an automatic 31,
Which is what I already had.
which is what you already had.
Oh, no, I had a 32 last time.
You did, but you said 31. And what we
Oh.
say on microphone is what matters.
Would 32 have made the difference?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
That's why I
was
let
so
it
wondering
slide.
about that.
I would have pushed the issue if it had.
Okay.
Are we going to connect to another listener?
I'm trying to decide. I think because my bonus is more than I get out of that.
That's the
'Cause
assurance.
that's just plus
That's
11.
That's how it is. Now, typically, assurance is 10 plus proficiency. This is 20 plus proficiency.
Yeah, it's a short assurance.
That's right.
Is the MLM of this podcast assurance? I say
I
as
think it
its
is.
most recent victim.
Yeah. David.
So I'm like the person with the blog on the internet being like, stay away.
Well, you're back
You've
when
got,
the buy-in
you've got
was
the closet
50K.
full of assurance that you couldn't get rid of, and you're just like trying to sell at fire prices.
So David is to the assurance MLM as Mag is to stuff in the swamp.
That's right. Watch out for
Careful, everyone. What? No, we don't believe. Okay, all
I
right.
think for right now, I'm gonna actually stick to Trill's rolling,
it. Okay.
and save Erica's card for later.
All right.
It's a pretty good one.
Pretty good one.
It is a really good one.
So are we doing another day of sitting with Doriana and delving deeper into her mind?
the way sleepovers sometimes go, right? Like you're there and you're like, oh, we're just doing one night. And then everyone's kind of, I don't want to say hungover from the vodka that you filled with water, but like it just
And
kinda,
ice cream.
Yeah.
The mayor's like, I got more. You don't, it's fine. This is what it takes. I will give you the vodka.
You keep hanging out for
I like
a
to imagine there's
while.
a steady dose of Trill cakes, which is sort of a weird background thing to we're just all
Everybody's
eating
hands
Trill.
start shriveling.
I
No,
ask
David.
the question one more time.
Trill is going to do it.
You
The question
will.
is who's going to do it with Trill.
We're in.
Absolutely.
Do what?
Dale can sit in a corner
Do
and make
what?
Another day with Doriana.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Another 8 hours with Doriana.
Here's a question for the group.
Okay.
What do they take on Truth or Dare?
Oh,
Your character, I mean. Mm?
This is a great question.
I mean, Dare
Let's
for
go
you.
now.
Trill would totally do
Obviously,
Dare.
Dare. She doesn't want to
Yeah,
answer a truth
it was
question.
definitely a Dare.
I,
That makes sense.
I can't believe I even truth. Mag takes
Yeah.
truth.
Absolutely. I'm not there, but I take truth too. If I were invited, which I, of course, wasn't, because I'm never invited to this kind of thing.
Aww.
I would
You're
do
invited,
truth.
Lars.
I like the idea that
Invited.
Wolfgang Messi shows up at the sleepover for like a weird 5 minutes and he offers like broad life advice. It's like that Baz Luhrmann graduation speech, but from
Wear
Wolfgang
sunscreen.
Messi.
You have to
when
wear
he
sunscreen.
He just says, wear sunscreen.
It's like, what? Okay. It's Serenith the 27th. It is brutally hot as the four of you continue to commune with Doriana's mind. We are getting sustained temperatures north of 110 degrees throughout the
Good
afternoon.
Lord.
Okay, so we're in Phoenix.
So the four of you on this brutally hot day, again, temperatures soaring, connect once more with Doriana as the second day of the slumber party rolls on. Let's get those checks again. Okay, so starting with AO, rolling on through. Did any of you get a critical failure or did any of you get a critical success?
I don't know if we know what the numbers are.
10 or below, 30 or above.
Istin got a 35.
Okay.
Dang.
Isn't who you wanted a sleepover.
I am having so much fun right now. Ooh, who's braiding my hair next?
Right, he's like cleaning up vomit.
Yeah.
That's a critical success, meaning that Trill is going to get a +2 to her
Awesome.
check, in addition to the +2 from oddity identification. So we're looking at a +4 total. As Istin uses the arcane arts to have a massive impact upon Trill's whole thing.
That's a 20 on the die.
No.
For a 38.
Oh.
That's how you do it, baby.
It's a massive breakthrough that Trill has with Doriana here. You get 2 pieces of information. You jump into Doriana's mind for a moment. Trill, you see her eyes shake back and forth, like vividly, like a waking dream, as she is pulled for a moment to another place in the material plane. She connects to Doriana's mind, then she connects into the mind of the Motley Man.
Oh, no.
No.
Wow.
And she sees through the Motley Man's eyes where
the Motley Man is.
he is hiding.
The Motley Man? Is he? Oh, he's on
The
Drury
linen
Lane.
closet?
He's
Drury Lane?
Yes.
He's in the bakery.
I'm going to not give you any of the information I was going to give you because that joke blew my whole tone up.
Fuck, no.
Okay.
Come back.
Dang it.
Come
Okay,
back,
the tone's
Lars.
back. The
Come
tone's
back.
back.
All
Okay.
right.
You see a stone chamber with a very old map of the Inner Sea region. That's where you are. The Isle of Kortos is the island in the middle of the Inner Sea. And as you ride along in the Motley Man's head, you see, from his point of view, him turn to another map on the other side of the room. It's a map of Otari, made from several tattered pieces of paper that have been arranged by hand, almost like a ransom note. And you get the impression that the Motley Man has been staying in this small stone room, has been casing the area of the inner sea, and has somehow divined this map of Otari to find his target, which of course you know is Doriana. So you get the sense that he has been reaching out psychically to find somebody and has intuitively built this map. And as Trill disconnects from this vision from the Motley Man's eyes, you hear the Motley Man's name just whispered on the air as you're disconnecting, as you bounce back from this connection to Doriana. And the name is Isond Kalir.
Isond Kalir.
And as the name Isond Kalir reverberates in your head, you see him standing in front of you. He's a man in brightly colored robes, his face obscured by a tattered cloth mask, dressed in a warrior's clothing, like a traveler from far away who has come here wearing all-weather clothing of these bright colors. And that's what you find out on day 2 of the Slumber Party.
This is like everyone's worst nightmare, playing Bloody Mary in the mirror.
And then Bloody Mary actually shows up.
Right, except it's
you briefly become Bloody Mary.
Yeah. Trill pops kind of back into herself and just says,
Isond Kalir. Isond Kalir.
and it's like she's stuck for a moment.
Lars, do any of us recognize that
Absolutely
name?
not. Absolutely not. You could try to get a sense of what's going on with a denizen of Lange, though. I'm going to say that's a harder check for everybody other than Trill. Trill having this image in front of her face, I think, in her mind, makes it a little bit easier. But if any of you would like to try to recall knowledge based on Trill's description or on the obsession that you've been pursuing this idea with, you could give me an occultism check to recall knowledge.
Yeah, Trill's going to try and recall knowledge on this denizen of Lange, absolutely.
Istin will definitely try as well.
Okay, and we'll do these out in the open. Okay, so who made this check and what did you get?
Trill got a 21. I'm assuming I don't get oddity identification for that.
I'd say not for this. This is a creature
Right.
you're trying to
It's-
identify.
Yeah, because it's lore, yeah.
Istin got an 18, so not great, probably.
Ao snaps back into it 24 hours later, having slept off her hangover and had a bunch of Cheetos with a 30.
And you know a little bit from your studies about denizens of Lange.
Oh.
You know that they are raiders from the cold, windswept dimension of Lange that ride ominous black ships capable of sailing beyond the borders of dimensions and other planes. It seems out of the ordinary to Ao that there would be the behavior of this particular motley man, of Isond Kalir, seems a little erratic, a little eccentric for a denizen of Lange. Is there anything that you would like to know specifically about denizens of Lange in terms of like their deal beyond that?
Is the hand shriveling like a known practice? Does it have a historical or anthropological nature? Or is this likely just like a lone wolf situation? And what are their will saves? No, I'm kidding.
So the hand. I think that you have enough sense of denizens of Lange to come to the conclusion, and this is the information I'm going to give you. This is the insight that AO has. Is that it's sort of taken maliciously as a token to prove like dominance over the mind that this creature is pursuing.
Sure.
So the hand is something that he is pulling into this other plane as a kind of
Trophy?
trophy.
Yeah. That's fucked up.
Would you like to pursue this investigation one more time?
I think Istin is totally down.
Trill's a little nervous, honestly, about going too far. She's been in his head already. And she knows that that's like his zone from what he's been doing to Doriana. I don't think Trill really wants to go into his head again.
Well, AO's gonna go if Trill isn't.
I mean, if we get there again, we might be able to see where he is and stop him.
Angiston says that, and Trill's kind of takes a deep breath.
Okay.
Turns out every universe in the multiverse has a Drury Lane, so it just doesn't tell you that much.
We need a map to find where Drury Lane is in the gauntlet.
Okay, Trill's been convinced. Trill will
Okay.
go once more.
So after a tense argument between the four of you, Trill decides to see if there's one more piece of information she can get from Doriana without losing herself in the mind of Isond Kalir, the Motley Man.
He's just so creepy.
And the four of you assemble once more for day 3. The mayor is like, okay, I'll go get more of the vodka.
Bring us some ice cream. Bring us some ice cream.
We're all out of it.
Everyone starts shouting flavors.
It's boiling out. We need the ice cream.
Neapolitan!
The ice cream, by the time the mayor gets back on this, the 28th of Serenith, has melted because there is a high of 115 degrees just before sundown.
God, I wish it was like a druid or something so I could cast wind.
Nuts.
As the 4 of you connect with Doriana, the 5 of you with Doriana together, sweat just pouring off of your faces, trying to gasp for air under the oppressive heat as you commune once more with the other side.
Trill wonders to herself if she's not just hallucinating all of this from the heat and the sweat and the steam.
It could be. It could be. Let's get those checks.
We're rolling the same thing we rolled before, or occultism?
Same
Whatever
reading
you'd like to aid with, go ahead and aid with it.
All this swamp lore. What fun.
Okay. Did any of you critically fail, get under a 10? Did any of you critically succeed, get over a 30?
Istin got a 34.
Istin and
This is the
Trill
man.
are like zoop, just like mind melding. Maybe
Can I
you're-
say this has all the ups and downs of a sleepover, right? People are friends, people are hating each other, a 3-night sleepover, no one's getting any sleep.
You know, you're the one who pushed me and convinced me to do this again. But damned if that sweat doesn't just look amazing on those muscles.
The two of them are going to
I
hook
hope.
up. I mean,
Oh,
it's
the
just...
different-
Excuse me, Mayor Menhimes, is the bathroom that way? Istin says, flexing, or that way?
So here's what I'm going to say. the two of you sync up so closely here in this day of connection to Doriana that you start speaking in unison as you channel
Oh my God,
this.
so grating though for the rest of us.
Ao and Mag are not invited to this mind party.
More vodka. We're making Jello shots in the corner.
That's what a 3-day group sleepover is like, though. Like these sort of like hierarchy forms.
Yes.
Yeah. Guess what? You're not in, dude.
Oh. Yeah. Well, no surprise for Mag.
Oh.
So the
That's
question
just not her
is,
thing.
Mag, you're my bestie.
the question
Never
is,
had a friend before.
the question is, are Trill and Istin saying anything that makes any sense whatsoever? Let's get that occultism check.
Okay, so I'm at +4 right now
That's
with
right.
Istin's support and the oddity identification.
I
Yes.
think the question is, Lars,
Mm-hmm.
has she seen the Motley Man?
Can I use my hero point to reroll?
What did you
better.
roll? What did you roll?
Because that was only a 22.
Use them or lose them, Robin.
Wait,
We
there-
are in use 'em or lose 'em territory. That's true.
Yeah, exactly. I may as well use it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Hero
let's try this again.
points.
That was better. This is a 34.
Okay. Woo! 34. Critical success.
Oh.
But you feel like you have plumbed the depths. You're only going to get one piece of information. You see that this next thing that you learn gives you the totality of the information that you can find from this line of investigation. And as Istin and Trill speak in unison, they reach out together. Istin grabs a teddy bear of Doriana's in one hand. Trill grabs the same teddy bear of Doriana's in another hand. And they are overtaken by the energy of their psychic connection that they rip the teddy bear in half.
Oh, no.
And there falls to the ground once more the Lange ruby that always finds its way back to Doriana's possession. And you grab the ruby and you realize that you can use this ruby to find Isand Kalir.
Ooh.
Investing your mind into it and using it to magically locate exactly where the Motley Man is hiding.
Yes.
And we will pick up from there next time.
This is so cool. I love this.
Roots of Ruin is a Tabletop Gold production produced under the Paizo Incorporated Community Use Policy, using trademarks and copyrights owned by Paizo that are covered under that policy. Paizo does not recognize, endorse, or sponsor this project in any way, and we are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. All original characters and content in the Roots of Ruin are the property of Tabletop Gold, and all rights are reserved. We at Tabletop Gold would love to hear from you. On our website, tabletopgold.com, you can learn more about us and our shows, pick up great merch, and connect to the best online community in all of podcasting. Thanks for listening.